Confrontation or containment? Moroccan authorities have rounded up an armed group accused of planning Al-Qaeda type attacks and have banned an Islamist political party allegedly linked to it. Is Morocco changing its approach to religious political parties? This is Inside Story. Hello, I am Hashim Mahalbara. Morocco's banned an Islamist political party it accuses of being linked to a terror cell. A legitimate move, a heavy-handed approach, or are there other motives? It comes in the wake of a string of terror attacks like this in Algeria last December, across North Africa in the last 5 years, and the violence saw a serious escalation in 2007. Moroccan authorities claim their latest arrests foiled a murder plot by a group linked to Al-Qaeda, but there's consternation on the streets where the banned party called the civilized alternative was widely seen as moderate. Mohammed Souqeh has more.
11 Kalashnikovs, 2 Israeli-made assault rifles, and a range of machine guns. A part of the arsenal of weapons the Moroccan government claims was about to be used in a terror plot. One of the men they accuse is the head of a political party, Al-Badil al-Hadari, or in English, the Civilized Alternative, a party that has now been banned.
The inquiries undertaken by the Moroccan authorities show that this cell managed to have links with some international terrorist groups, such as Al-Qaeda, the Moroccan fighting group, and the Algerian Salafist group for preaching and combat.
The party's leader was among 36 people, including a brigadier and the correspondent of Al-Manar television of Hezbollah, arrested last week. The government says there was a plan underway to assassinate top army officers, ministers, and Moroccan Jews. But news of the party ban came as a surprise to many Moroccans. Al-Badil al-Hadari is considered one of the most moderate Islamic parties in the country.
For us, it's astonishing news because since we founded our party, we've made it clear that democracy is our goal. And we proved that when we were among the first parties to condemn Al-Qaeda and the use of violence in politics.
Since the attack in Casablanca in 2003 that resulted in the death of 45 people, the Moroccan government has been steadily tightening its anti-terror laws. But this is the first time they have taken such measures against a legal political party.
Joining us to discuss this issue are our guests in the Moroccan capital, Rabat, Mustafa Al-Khalfi, political strategist at the Justice and Development Party, PJD. From London, Mohammed bin Madani. He is the North Africa analyst for Maghreb Review. Also in Rabat, Lahsan Haddad, a columnist and strategic studies professor at Mohammed V University. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us today. Let me start by asking Mr. Lahsan Haddad in Rabat, a ringleader with links to many underground radical groups, a party that is banned, 2 political leaders arrested among many others. What's going on in Morocco?
I think this is very surprising, and I think this is unprecedented in the sense that you have terrorist groups that belong to splinter groups that have been going on for the last 20 years or so. They are linked to political leaders, and there is no necessary link with Al-Qaeda. So we are seeing something that is really new. And I think that what is happening is probably some sort of new homegrown terrorism that is happening in Morocco, not necessarily linked to Al-Qaeda, given the kind of style it's, it's intending to do in order to perpetrate the acts, but also, from the profile of the people who are involved in it, especially like the political leaders and also the other people who are involved, who are not necessarily from the disenchanted youth.
Mr. Mohammed Madani in London, we're talking about underground radical groups that Moroccans have heard of for the first time. The Mujahideen, the Islamic avant-gardists, the revolutionary Islamic movement. Well, the question is, where have they been operating? Where have they been for the last 25 years?
Well, yes, I agree. But one has to be very careful here what one says about this arrests in Morocco. I am a little bit concerned because this is the first time that you have a large number of people with a discovery of a large number of weapons, which is more than enough to carry a coup d'etat. And I think also one has, at this stage, one has to be careful what he says, what we say about the political party leaders who are involved, because we don't know how much evidence there is to put before the court to charge them. So it is worrying as far as I'm concerned, and I am really worried about what's going on now in North Africa, because it's increasing by numbers.
Okay, Mr. Mustafa Khalfi, Moroccans followed what happened with worry, but it seems that they're a little bit skeptical about the revelations, and they are saying that perhaps the authorities in Morocco have blown all the scenario out of proportion.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because I think that in Morocco now, to speak that there is a double strategy based on two wings, military wings and political wings, and this strategy has started since the beginning of the 90s, and the government couldn't discover it until now. So after 16 years, it's a big surprise, not only for political parties and the political spectrum in Morocco, but also for security forces in Morocco and for other regional forces in Morocco, because the Interior Minister has said that this group has been working in trying to contact Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, other groups in Algeria, in Europe. So it's not a very silent group, but it's a group that is still working and representing a real threat. So the problem now, what is the relationship between the military group and the political parties? Because it's not only...
That's an element.
That's the question now in Morocco.
Okay.
That's an element. And until now, the Interior Minister didn't give any material evidence that give us the possibility to say that there is some link.
Absolutely, because the Moroccan Minister of Interior has been saying that they are trying now to continue the interrogations to come up with a fully fledged idea. Mr. Lahsan Haddad in Rabat, now a political party has been banned and two high-profile leaders are in jail. A correspondent of the Hezbollah channel, Al-Manar, is also in jail, and scores of others. Is this the beginning of a new chapter in what has been described most of the time, a very tense relationship between the state and the religious parties?
I don't think so, and I don't agree with those who say that the state is fabricating all of these in order to really corner the Islamist group, especially the moderates among them. And I think the political party under question now is one of the most moderate and also is one of the most left-leaning parties. And I think it would be foolish on the part of the state to just jeopardize the whole political process and democratic process in order just to corner the Islamist group. I don't think they had a problem with this party. They don't have a problem.
I've been reading Moroccan newspapers during the last few days, and the problem was that while everybody showed concern about what's going on in Morocco, they said the decision to arrest Mu'tasim, for example, the leader of the civilized alternative, was a big mistake.
There are people who think that it was a big mistake politically, but I think legally, I mean, it's in the right, I mean, like the act, I mean, Article 57 allows the government to do that. And I think it's, if we want to construct this kind of stage of due process, I think we should let it happen. If people are concerned or they think that they are not guilty, I mean, I think it's up to the courts to decide that. What the government is not revealing evidence or facts because they think that they will jeopardize all the work that is being done by the security forces right now. They have acted like urgently, and then they applied the 57 article because
which
they
is
think
also a
that
very controversial article, because the PJD was saying that it was misapplied on this party. Let me go to Mr. Mohammed bin Madani in London. Bringing the name of Al-Qaeda, is this something that would be a source of alarm for the European community, because we know that they are very much concerned that Al-Qaeda could use North Africa as a base to launch attack against Europe?
Well, frankly, the Al-Qaeda in North Africa, especially in Algeria, it has been expanding its membership and its strategy for the last 7 years or so. So that it has a link in Europe as well as in North Africa. So there is a large number of exchange of information, money. So there is a link between North Africa as well as Al-Qaeda in Algeria and West Africa, namely Mauritania and Niger, Mali. So there is a link, close link between all these groups, but the number of these groups is very hard to gauge, apart from saying, well, in Algeria we know there are about 1,400 members, about 57 in Mauritania, but they do exist, they do work together. But what is worrying, as far as I'm concerned here, because they are penetrating more and more North African security services. So my question to my colleagues in Rabat is, how come then the police force are infiltrated by these groups?
The infiltration is something that has been voiced by Moroccan newspapers during the last few days. Mr. Mustafa Al-Khalfi, you are member of the PJD, second most popular party in Morocco, second also as was the result of the elections. Do you feel like you are targeted because one member of the party was arrested?
It seems to me that it's indirect targets, that because when in public media we are seeing that a member of the PJD are related to this question, so in some way you are harming the popularity of the party. The party still, since its beginning, condemning terrorism acts in Morocco. That's the first thing. The second thing, human rights groups, not only one or two or three, but all major human rights associations in Morocco has condemned this decision to ban the alternative party. And they said that the government didn't give any concrete and material link that allowed the government to implement 57 article of the law on political parties. The third point, that in general the whole story will not harm the Moroccan approach to deal with moderate Islamic movement. Until now, the government and other political actors in Morocco are still saying that we should open the system, the electoral process to the moderate Islamic movement in Morocco, because it's the only answer to fight the real radicalism and to fight terrorism. Without giving young people, without giving moderate Islamists the opportunity to participate and to operate within the system, so we are pushing them to work outside of the system, and we are pushing them to be radicals. This, I think, and many observers now, among them are leftists, are seeing this in Morocco. So I think this will have some negative impacts, but in a limited term. But in general, the whole policy that is based on integrating moderate Islamic movement in the process, giving them the opportunity to work and to influence public policies, I think we're still working, and Morocco will not join any eradication policy that some other Arab countries are used it in the past.
Time for a short break. When we come back, we take a broader look at other North African countries. Stay with us.